viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, back again with another tool review for you. And this one comes to you by request from you. Yes, several of you have commented about my Luminar work lights that I use, in particular this one that hangs out underneath the hood. So I figured, hey, if the public wants it, I'll do it. Well, here at the toolbox, I have the two lights in question. This one is a light bar that has two on and off switches, one on each end. It has a rechargeable battery, so the batteries are not replaceable. You plug it into the wall and recharge it. But it has two settings. So it's got the first setting, and then it's got another setting that's brighter, and then an off setting. I get asked about this one the most because of this feature here. Well, there's a couple of features. There's hooks that fold out on either end of the light that you can use to attach it. In addition, you can unscrew the ends, and they have these little bungee cord ends on them so that you can attach them underneath the hood. And they're very good at illuminating areas underneath the hood. This is like this on both sides, by the way. Same thing, so you've got them on both sides. And since these are magnetic, they can attach to metal surfaces. Way cool. Now this other smaller light also has a magnet on the bottom, so when you put it on some things that are metal, it will stay. It actually has two lights. They're all LEDs. Okay, there's this one on the end here that turns off, on and off, or is supposed to turn on and off. This is a brand new light, by the way, just as an FYI. Okay, now it's doing it somewhat more consistently. On top of that, you have the LED light that you pull out like this. So it's like a drop light that you can have. This one does not have any hooks or anything, it just has that magnet on the side there. And both of these were purchased from Harbor Freight. These are tools that I've purchased, that I've had, that I've been using for a while. As I said, you've seen them in the videos. Let's take it over to my Vigor and I'll show you how this one attaches underneath the hood. Well, as stated, the shorter light can attach magnetically to metal surfaces. Now, not too long ago, I tried to do this with the Montana. I don't know if you've seen that video. With the exhaust manifold repair, but that hood was made out of plastic, so therefore this was useless. But it can be handy in some situations where you just attach it. The other light I use like this. I'll actually take one end and loop it around the hood, and then the other, and do the same on this side. And the reason I do that is because it doesn't tend to stick to these uneven surfaces as well. And as you can see, there's stuff sort of in the way. So this seems to be the best way to illuminate your work area under the hood. And it does a pretty good job of that. Problem I have with this light, battery life. Battery life at full steam, like I have it on here, is probably 35, maybe 40 minutes or so. It starts to dim, it starts to lose the thing. So like every time I get up to go get a tool or something, I'm always turning it off. I do that to avoid running the battery dead. Also, this one here is brand new for a reason. Why? Because the two that I've had before it failed. In fact, I have one right here. So here's the one I had just before this. It's fully charged and not functioning. And as I said, this is not the first time that this has happened to me. This is actually the second one of these that has failed in this fashion. The last one I opened up and found out the board looked all gooky, and there was actually connection issues on the circuit board itself, which caused it to fail, and I think that's what happened to this one. I would say that if you're gonna design a work light, that it should be designed for somewhat rugged use. And I'm not really hard on these things. I don't chuck them across the room or anything like that. The most shock that it gets is just opening and closing it like so. Both of these lights are made in China, and I will say that that's probably part of the problem. The upside is the price. The price of these things, they're quite affordable. They're not that expensive. I'll put links in the description to all this. So very affordable, not reliable, like many things that I've gotten from Harbor Freight. So really it boils down to a return on investment. Harbor Freight is easy for me to get to, and I can pick something up and walk out the door, and it's really affordable. However, I resign myself to the fact that it may not last that long. So that's gonna be the takeaway for both of these lights. They do what they're supposed to do, but lifespan somewhat limited by the quality of materials used in their manufacture. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this review. One more complaint that I have about this light is that there's nothing to stabilize it. So when you have it sitting on top of work, there's a real good chance that it could roll around and not illuminate what you're trying to illuminate. I would love to see something that holds this in place, or at least stabilizes it so that when you set it down, it stays where you put it. That would be great. This just does the general area. This is more like the spotlight that I use when I'm going around inspecting things. But once again, it's the second of a broken tool. You get what you pay for. And if you're buying cheap Chinese stuff, don't expect it to last too long. Anyway, if you have automotive questions that were not addressed in this video, I would ask that you head over to EricTheCarGuy.com. There's a welcome video there to tell you about all of our amazing features to help you with automotive issues, should you have them. If you wish to connect with me socially, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and now Instagram. And I post tool review videos every other Wednesday, so look for those then, and close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, stay dirty. I'll see you next time.